Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I want to have a look at the 9P157-2 Khrizantema-S, and I hope I pronounced this right, because this is a new rank 7, battle rating 9.7 anti-tank missile carrier for the Soviets. It comes in the tech tree after the Sturm S, and also it is kind of now the question if you want to grind this or if you want to go solely for the BMP-2M, which you can grind with your squadron. So what does it bring to the battlefield? What are the rough stats? How does it feel in comparison? So that is actually where this tank shows some unexpected issues with its weapon systems and actually doesn't deliver the unpromised promises, if that makes sense. So first of all, we are talking here about a tank that has very little armor. It is actually in most places the alloy ABT 102, so this is not even steel armor. The modifier is much lower. Then also where the missiles are, it's open topped, so any biplane can ammo-rack this thing even with light machine guns, which is not really all that nice because it lacks any sort of heavy machine gun, light machine gun, and also the anti-plane, anti-helicopter abilities are kind of limited. We'll come to this in just a moment. So the armor is very thin, and it is obviously vulnerable to hull break, as you could see in the beginning, and also if it gets splashed by bomb or rocket hits, if it gets hit by APFSDS in some weird places, even on the hull, even if it doesn't get hit in a vital place. Then we come to the mobility, and it kind of makes a little bit up for it. So we have a 500 horsepower strong engine for an 18-ton tank, giving it a horsepower to ton ratio of 27.8, which is really fantastic. Top speed is 70 kilometers per hour forwards, 20 in reverse, and it also features neutral steering, which is quite nice. Then we finally come to the weapon system. We have two parallel mounted, high mounted launching tubes for the 9M123 ATGM. You have overall 16 rockets or missiles, and you can fire 2 at a time. The reload for 2 of them is 15 seconds, which is kind of difficult to work around if you are in a head-on engagement, which you should avoid at all times. Then the ATGMs come in 2 different distinct flavors. The 9M123, which is an ATGM tandem heat warhead with 550 meters per second maximum speed on the trajectory, and also 6 kilometers of range, which is really decent for an ATGM. And then we have 1200 millimeters of penetration at any distance, which is really strong. And also because you have a tandem warhead, you have twice the post-penetration damage effect, if I could interpret the readings from the hit camera correctly. So this is actually pretty good, but sometimes it is also difficult to bring this thing home on target, because especially at close range. Well, we come to this in just a moment. The second missile type is the 9M123F, which is a rank 3 upgrade, and it costs you 1,300 silver lines per missile. It has the same statistics with the maximum speed and the maximum range, but it has a 9.24 kilogram heavy TNT warhead with 61 millimeters of penetration. This is like shooting a big 8-inch high explosive naval shell at somebody, but only if you hit them in the correct spot, because spaced armor, ear protection, and also funnily enough, a lot of the composite armor can withstand it. But if you hit the cupola, if you shot trap somebody, if you hit below a tank, then the memes are right there, and it will deal a great damage. But again, you have 15 seconds to reload it. You have only 16 ATGMs in total, so you can run out of missiles relatively quickly, so in like under 2 minutes. And this duel here also shows very well what I'm talking about. So the first hit was really decent, and I'm reloading here, and I hope that I can kill this guy. But then the second missile also hits home, but deals very little damage. But in fact, it actually ignited the ammo rack in the back of the tank, but it survived it. and then follow-up shots get actually shot down by the machine gun halfway the distance, and that costs you an awful amount of time and, more importantly, ammunition. And to work around this, I tried here. So the next thing is, when you fight with this thing overall, what does this thing have? Because it's very lightly armored, so you expect the full package from a light tank, you know, scouting, helping to repair, etc. But it doesn't have this. It doesn't even have an artillery strike. It cannot scout, and it cannot help allies being repaired. On the other hand, it only has one source of smoke, the ESS, so no smoke grenades that you can deploy in front of you. And then one other thing that is actually really nice is the combination of the very useful laser rangefinder and the night vision device, which is crystal clear, and you have not just for your gunner but also for your commander. So the thing is, in close quarters engagements, the problem is this: it only has 15 degrees of gun elevation, and despite having a lot of freedom in theory, it only has 5 degrees of gun depression. That is not really amazing. And then there is also the fact that you have here only 25 degrees of turret traverse and 25 degrees of gun elevation, if you will. And here you can see this is the perfect spot, and we have numerous problems here because you cannot really fire over it, even in third person, even if you zoom in. So I tried to make it here work. This is probably the most perfect spot. I think I showed this already with another tank of similar design, where it actually could use it significantly better. Now you see here this wobbling thing in the front, that is a radar, and you can track helicopters and planes with it. And in theory you could shoot down them with the high explosive warhead or the tandem warhead, but I was never able to get into a position where I could actually effectively lock on and shoot somebody down. And again, you just don't have the amount of missiles to waste them numerous times, and also you then appear as a primary threat to a helicopter, so he goes for you, and we just have seen in previously that you don't have the armor. The other thing about a lot of the map designs is that, well, you might be in the perfect spot, but nobody comes around, so the rest of your team dies on the rest of the map, and you can't do anything about it because, well, you have this perfect spot and nobody comes, and everybody is so rude and doesn't engage you when you are in your perfect spot. And to use then this perfect spot is also not that guaranteed to bring you success. We'll see this in this scene. So I think that this tank is not worth it. I think that, yeah, and by the way, it also cannot fire on the move. So you have to stop the vehicle. You have to come to a screeching halt and then fire the ATGM. And by that time, you are already dead because everybody else has a stabilizer. Yeah, there. I could really fire at him, but I in fact couldn't. So I tried to use here the timing, but it didn't work. And again, 15 seconds of reload. This is enough time for a tank to come around and actually, you know, engage me and outright kill me, and to align my weapon systems with the target. Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. So too many disadvantages, and all the battle scenarios, all those close quarters engagements, whenever you have to go into a into an objective, it doesn't really favor this tank. And just look at how it wobbles around. If I try to hit him here, it just doesn't happen. It's too sluggish. It's not gonna happen. It doesn't work, sadly, because I thought that this tank would be a bit more useful. Maybe Gaijin will add artillery strike and the ability to scout. That would enhance its combat effectiveness a lot, and also the value for the team. And maybe give it the option to fire here when you are zoomed in, because that would help a lot and would make the tank significantly more useful. But there are just way too many limitations. Only 5 degrees of gun depression or launch system depression, not the ability to really fire over cover. you can see where this is going. Again, I'm not ranting, I'm just pointing out the issues before you grind yourself the 390,000 RP. I also would suggest that you would go into a test drive trying to figure it out for yourself if you don't outright believe me. And actually that's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Please give the video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and as usual we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.